What are we actually drinking right now?
Chai tea.
Okay, so this isn't special. This is just chai tea.
Yes.
But I mean, like, I've had chai tea before.
Gift. It was a gift, and you're like, oh, this isn't special.
I've been known to kick a gift horse in the mouth, as you already know.
So did you want this to be some
Well, like,
crazy
I
drink
thought you
because
could,
it's
like,
in
have
an
a name for
unmarked?
it,
Oh,
you know?
yeah. Yeah, actually, chai tea. Chai means tea.
So it's TT.
Yep, that's what it is. We are having TT.
We are 12 years old, ladies and gentlemen.
I have no idea what you guys are.
No, it's
Never mind.
it's Jeff.
It's not just Jeff. TT's funny in all languages. Oh yeah, BeatiDudes. Welcome to one of the most normal episodes ever of the BeatiDudes, as we're going to be diving deep into service. Our guest is already mumbling over us. He's from Mumbai, India. Y'all, the BeatiDudes is a show for Christian men walking arm in arm together on our way to eternity through the Trinity as a fraternity.
Nice.
Thank you. I saved it. My name is Jeff Shevelbein. I'm here, and I'm joined by Paul Kolker
Howdy, howdy.
and Nick Besner.
I've never been to Mumbai.
Okay, well, we're going to go to Mumbai Station now. So
All right.
we're joined today by guest Anand.
Namaste.
No. Why would you say that?
That means greetings.
Oh, yeah. I thought it meant start stretching.
I think your head is already stretched. It's not fitting there.
Well,
The
for
hat.
anybody watching, I put on Anand's helmet, and we have different size heads. What do you call this that I'm wearing?
In my language, it's talapaga.
Talapaga, of course.
Yeah.
What do I call it in my language?
Headwear.
Headwear. Thing on head.
Yep.
We don't have anything eloquent compared to your language. Your language is called what?
Telugu.
Television?
Very close. Telugu.
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 Yeah, Paul got it.
Yeah, Paul gets everything. Paul, he knows the romantic languages. He knows the Eastern Bloc languages. So our guest and on here, we're going to be talking about some really great stuff today related to service. But first, I thought to kick things off here in the lucidprivateoffice.com where we operate from, we would start drinking from unmarked white bottle that you brought out of your fridge when I didn't even tell you to bring anything. I went in your office just now. Anand, by the way, this is our studio. There's a tiny table and not a big studio. This wall is Anand.
On the other side.
Yeah, you just
Have you
knocked
ever
at
heard
my-
the show before from there?
Every week.
He had a little PTSD in his eye when he said that.
Why did you come on then?
You asked me to show up today at 5:90. You remember that? So I came here an hour earlier. And you guys are already here. I don't know what time we're going on.
5:90 is really supposed to be
19, I think is.
6:30.
Yeah. 6:30 is when you wanted to meet, but also your invitation said it ends at 6:30. So I'm like, hey, 1 minute show. Sure, I'll be there.
5:90 to 6:30. Well, here we made it.
Yeah.
You're a dear friend, but you're also a neighbor, and so we just felt that if we didn't have you on the show, eventually you'd just be burning with passion. So, welcome to the BeatiDudes.
Great to be here.
What are we actually drinking right now?
Chai tea.
Okay, so this isn't special. This is just chai tea.
Yes.
But I mean, like, I've had chai tea before.
Gift. It was a gift, and you're like, oh, this isn't special.
I've been known to kick a gift horse in the mouth, as you already know.
So
Yeah.
did you want this to be some
Well, like,
crazy
I
drink
thought you
because
could,
it's
like,
in
have
an
a name for
unmarked?
it,
Oh,
you know?
yeah. Yeah, actually, chai tea. Chai means tea.
So it's TT.
Yep, that's what it is. We are having TT.
We are 12 years old, ladies and gentlemen.
I have no idea what you guys are.
No, it's
Never mind.
it's Jeff.
It's not just Jeff. TT's funny in all languages. Okay, welcome to the show. So, first of all, this is no joke. How do we say your name? And is it Anand? Anand.
Yeah,
With
anybody
the D?
else want to try?
Anand
You tried,
Bheemarasetti.
There was a first name before Anand.
Or did I mix
We
them
learned-
up? I thought that
yeah.
was the middle name.
He was
it
on the
Radhi?
radio with us.
Anand is the middle name.
Oh, wait, so is it Radhi?
Adi.
I don't know where Roddy is from, but
The wrestler.
Adi is my
Oh,
first name.
Adi? Oh,
Yeah.
I added an R. Okay, my
Yeah.
bad. But Adi Anand Bheemarasetti.
You got it.
Yeah.
Let's
Yep.
get a little bit Roddy.
I'll give Paul a point for that one.
Thank you.
I
Christopher.
see Paul the least from you three guys, and he got my name right
He's a
first.
linguist.
Oh, that's why.
He really knows his Latin roots.
Cheers to that.
Cheers. Well,
Cheers.
cheers to our chai.
I
That
did some,
sounded better.
I did some Tai Chi earlier, too. So Tai Chi and Chai tea.
Yep.
Start stretching. That's what I say in my language.
That's good.
Mm.
Yeah.
Just
Not so bad.
leftovers.
All right. How did we first get to know you? Where did you come from?
I was born in India,
Okay, and then you fast
That's
forward
why
to
we're-
Dallas.
Dallas. 40 years later.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, so you're very involved in things around the Catholic universe of what I see, at least in Dallas, but I think it probably stretches beyond that. Tell us about this history of you being involved in matters of faith, service, and works. I'd love to hear this.
Wow, that's a long story then.
Yeah, go for it. What is it? This is the longer show, so I'll sit here and drink my
Great.
chai.
Yeah, keep drinking. Yeah, I was born to a Catholic mother and a Hindu father. So I grew up doing both, going to church as well as going to a temple until my first Holy Communion during catechesis. Around that time, I said, yeah, Hinduism doesn't make sense anymore. As I learned more about my own faith, as the Christian faith, I had a lot of respect. I still do have a lot of respect for Hinduism and Islam because I grew up with it all the time. But after the first communion, I just couldn't do, both anymore. I was about 10 years old, and my Catholic faith really, it was on a high gear from that moment onwards. And I've had the opportunity to really learn more about my faith through my high school years. I went to a Jesuit school, but it really gave me a chance to dive into it after I moved to U.S., which is kind of the opposite of what most people kind of do. Like a lot of my good Christian friends come here and then they get into the bar scene and they kind of forget their faith a little bit,
Sure.
which is kind of common here. So for me, I probably would have done the same thing, except for I got invited to this Newman Center in Lincoln, Nebraska. So there is a story there, like how I ended up in Lincoln.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
But I was hanging out with the seminarians, summer break. And that was great because if not, I probably would have ended up at bars and doing the typical young people scene. I was 22 years old. But hanging out with these guys, going to Mass every day, and really my faith started growing. And then I started reading more, and JP2, Mother Teresa, both their writings, that helped me go deeper. That's like how I took my Catholic faith more seriously
Yeah.
from that point onwards. And after that, I just got introduced to a lot of different ministries, and I looked into priesthood, monastic life, but girls are cuter and prettier, so I chose to be married. But
Monasteries have their own beauty.
they do.
Well said, Nick.
In silence, yeah.
No, so were you an undergrad then in Nebraska? Or were you just hanging out
Actually-
with seminarians in Nebraska?
Just hanging out. I finished college when I was 20, and I was
You
doing
said,
IT.
I'm going to Nebraska.
That's the story there. In India, a lot of people, a lot of IT people, they love to come to US because there are more opportunities here. You can make more money. You can learn technology better. So I was on the same path. I was, at this point, 21. I got invited by a company, and I applied for visa, had a birthday. So 22, my employer told me, like, hey, we got you a project lined up. It's going to be in Lincoln. And I was excited. I told everyone, hey, I'm going to Lincoln.
16th president.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
Two
it's a big
presidents.
deal.
Everyone know Washington, George Washington and Abraham Lincoln.
It must
So
be right up there with Washington.
I thought it'll be right next to Washington, D.C.
I love this.
And first time flying in my life. Yeah, and I took like 5 different flights and finally landed in an airport that had 2 gates. I was like, wait a second, what went wrong here? I was so confused. And yeah, my employer showed up 2 hours later and picked me up, drove through cornfields.
Shameful.
And what year is this, roughly?
This is 98. You were not born yet, Nick.
I was. We had our first PC that was on dial-up internet. Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
I was 8. Almost.
Pushing 8.
7 3/4.
Later that year.
So keep going from there. You end up in Nebraska, and then you do a ton in the church. How did you go from ending up in Nebraska to your Mr. Dallas Synod and doing all these works of mercy? Like, where does this transition happen?
I think the transition started when I was, some of my colleagues, IT work is what I was doing at that time. They would always say, hey, Anand, you got to make some local friends. We are all too old. So I was working on IBM mainframes at that time. Mostly IBM mainframe programmers are about 200 years old. A lot of old people, and I was probably the youngest in our office, so the guys would say like, hey, I don't know why you're hanging out with us. You should go hang out at the bars. So I went to do what they recommended. So Friday evening after work, I went to a bar, sat there, because I've seen in the movies, like you go, you sit at the counter, and like some guy comes, like you both become buddies. And I'm like, oh, maybe I can make some friends here. I show up, and then there were a lot of guys and girls at these bars, and some not dressed so well. Coming from India, I was kind of shocked. What's going on here? And then I remembered other movies where boy meets girl, 20 seconds later, they're ripping each other's clothes off in the movies. I'm like, oh no, don't talk to girls because we don't know what's going to happen after that.
Danger.
So danger, stay away, talk only to guys. And I saw some guys come, and we started shooting pool and having fun. And I thought, okay, this is a great place. I met some guys. Now we're going to be friends. I said, okay, guys, let's go somewhere quieter and hang out, share meals and talk life, faith, and whatnot. And they're like, no, let's go to another bar and drink more. I was like, nah, peace out. Like, I didn't like that. So I dropped the bar scene. And then
I like how
one
you
day,
give the bar scene one shot.
yeah, I did actually.
awesome.
Two or three
Okay.
times.
Sure.
And after that, I said, this is lame. I didn't like it.
You're smart.
And then one day after Sunday Mass, a priest asked me, so Anand, what did you do for Christmas? I said, well, I called my parents. I talked on the phone. And then I watched some TV and drank some Coca-Cola. That was it. And he's like, so you have nobody to spend time with? I'm like, well, no, I don't know anyone. He's like, well, you should come to our house for the next family gathering. So I went, and I think it was Father's Day. They invited me to their family on a farm. First time going to a farm in Nebraska. That was an experience, and great family. Loved, like there are 2 of their daughters in this family are religious sisters at that time, but they still are. And one guy is a priest, and the other 2 or 3 are married. So it was a wonderful time with them. And at the end of that evening, I was kind of surprised to see a family with lots of traditional values and simple lifestyle. Really felt like another Indian family from the values point of view.
Sure.
I really enjoyed meeting them, and that priest then invited me and said, like, Anand, you should come to the Newman Center. People that hang out there are your age group. So that's how I went there.
Nice.
And these friendships and the joy in these really good Midwestern young men and women was so attractive. I said, okay, these are the people that I want to be friends with. So that was the starting point. And from that moment onwards, I wanted to be like them. So I did everything they did, whether it is going to daily mass or praying novenas together.
Well, there's something there, right? Like, you could have chosen to do that with the first people you met, and I want to be like them, and I want to do what they do. But you were a little bit more discerning, I think, than some of us.
Yeah, it's pretty easy for the rest of us. Oh, I won't speak on the rest of us, but some of the rest of us, that it's like, oh, you're going to the next bar? I will try that too, if that's where you're going.
Right.
So, good for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank-
That was
There's a lot of wisdom.
And I didn't drink Coca-Cola back then, so I had nothing to go home to.
Nice.
Okay. Where does focus come in? Not your ability to see. The organization Fellowship of Catholic University Students. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, we all had to really
Finishing my
focus.
stuff.
I did not see you going stuff there, Jeffrey.
Now, where did focus come in?
Within a year after I started engaging with the Newman Center there, spending time going to Mass and retreats and everything, Focus just arrived in town and they were launching the program. And this guy, Jim Jansen, phenomenal guy, he invited a bunch of guys to a Bible study. And I asked, like, hey, I'm not a student. I'm 22, 23 now. Can I join? He's like, sure. So that's the first time I was like, oh, so people outside of Mass, Catholics do more stuff, like Bible stuff. I was, like, fascinated by it. I said, like, oh, maybe it's not a bad idea to learn a little bit more. And I started going to his Bible study. Around the same time, I heard an announcement at my parish. They said, hey, we have some classes in the evening. I didn't quite catch what classes they were. I signed up for that too because I was really bored. I had nothing else to do. A year later, most people in that class got confirmed. So that's when I realized, oh, I already went to these classes in Telugu. Now I went to them in English. But I really learned a lot about my own faith. That was my first year as well, where I realized the real presence is actually the real presence.
Oh, awesome.
Until then, in my head, it was symbolic.
Yeah.
And I've been Catholic for more than a decade at this time already.
Well, I mean, I think that is a lot of Catholics, though, where I'm trying to think of how to sum this up. Because not everybody is just against. It's not as though it's a disposition to say, oh, well, that can't be true, right? But I think there are a number of people who just either haven't been blessed in a particular way or with that kind of grace, I guess, right, to be able to encounter the Lord in that sense. Like they might have been receiving communion, but it has not yet become real for them.
Well, I don't think anybody explained that to me in my catechesis.
Well, there's that too. Like, yeah, like with the true proclamation.
To find it took like an adult journey, post college and confirmation and all that stuff.
That's fair.
And maybe they did, but I'm just saying it was like not
you
well
also
run.
get your first communion when you're 8. So if you don't have that like, continued reinforcement from your home, from your parents, that's
I guarantee when I was 8, they didn't say it was the real anything.
Well,
you were born a while ago, so that's
before there was a consecrated host.
No, that would have been 2000.
Exactly.
Oh,
that's
okay,
my point
okay.
exactly.
Okay. No, but I think also we have this tendency, especially modern day, right, to just say, well, if it's a mystery, then that means it's like either made up or can't possibly be real. Like if I can't wrap my mind around it completely,
then you can't grapple or.
Well, then it must not really be what they're saying it is, right?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So if it's a mystery, then it couldn't possibly be. You couldn't possibly know anything. So why should I believe you?
Yeah, we kind of dismiss it if we don't think that we can completely explain it.
I think that you could also say that it's so unfathomable that you have trouble going down that pathway, and so you just let it be.
Well, there's some of that. I meant like in our modern rational, like air quotes, right? Modern rational West, where we just say, oh, well, if we can't sum it up and put it on a sheet of paper and solve for X and all of that, like that it's oh, well, then that can't really be true. Right. Yeah, there's a dismissiveness.
There is another angle too. I think mysteries are taught and explained to different people based on their age. So when we are 8 and 9 receiving our first communion, the teachers, they are trying to explain to us, okay, how much can an 8-year-old, 9-year-old take and understand? And the same thing is explained in the encyclical by St. John Paul II, in that Eucharistic encyclical. It was so beautiful, but also very in-depth. 80-year-old cannot read and get it all, but a 20-year-old can, a college student or after, can get it. So I think there is that. Like when I received my first communion, I'm sure they tried to explain it. It just didn't get into my head at that time. But later, as I was hanging out with these Newman Center kids in Lincoln at UNL, reading the books that we were reading, listening to the talks that I was listening to. I went to one of the first Focus conferences, and Eucharist just made sense. And I was in tears. In fact, like that is the first time, like consolation, having that experience was beautiful. And since then I just couldn't turn away from it.
When I think about like trying to prep kids, because this is just fascinating, especially coming off of the Congress and everything around the Eucharist, I think about theology of the body, because there's so many cool resources now to help talk about the human body to a 6-year-old that preps them for having a conversation when they're 9 to understand this beautiful thing. And then as they start to go further, they have a foundation to build on. So you're not just like, hey, you're 15, here's a bunch of stuff I'm going to tell you and try to catch up, you know? And I think the same could be said in catechesis, which is, I know at 8 years old, it's pretty hard to digest. But I think people were giving me, when I was younger, like they were giving me the pass. Like, y'all couldn't understand this, or maybe they didn't even understand it. So it was like, why even bother? This is what you go through because you go through this, you know?
Right.
Yeah, this is just the way it is. So
It's what
let's check this box and move on.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So fast forward to you
Yeah.
are a Focus. Go into this. Yeah.
Focus Bible study with Jim Jansen, Focus conference at the end of that year. That just got me really excited, to the point that Catholic faith is not only just attending the sacraments on Sundays, but also like you can talk Catholic, you can live Catholic. I mean, all this stuff was pre-existent, but I did not experience that myself. It seemed like a Protestant thing, like walking around with the Bible, knocking on the doors. Not that I did that, but sharing faith can be done without knocking on the doors, just by living it out. So that was very attractive to me. That's when I started asking myself, like, oh, wow, this is like, I'm really thrilled and excited about it. Maybe I should quit my IT job and become a priest, because I really want to share that passionately with others. So I was discerning, going to spiritual direction, but my spiritual director said, but Anand, you're spending more than half the time talking about the girls you like. So let's see what your call is, what your vocation is. Let's spend time praying over. And that's when I was doing discernment retreats. And so I thought like the second best thing I could do to live out my faith by sharing with others, if it's not as a priest, I thought Focus was the second best way to do that on a college campus with young people. And that's when, the idea kind of popped up in my head, which originally was I was helping one of my friends recruit more guys into Focus. I was like heavily promoting it, but I never thought it was for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
You already had a job.
Yeah, I have my IT job, and there was this one moment where one day I went to that same priest that invited me. At that time, I was after a couple of years, I was living in Kansas City. He came to visit. We had dinner. At dinner, I told him, like, Father, I just feel like I'm that rich young man from the Bible. If Jesus is asking me to follow him, what if I'm not following him? What if, like, everything I'm doing is still not enough? I'm active in my faith, but am I ready to just walk away from everything I have? Like, do I have that kind of faith? And the priest goes like, well, did you go to Mass this morning? It was a weekday. Like, no, I couldn't make it today. And he goes, well, that was the reading today. For me, that was like, whoa, okay. Now there is something here. So I wanted to test myself, like see if I'm ready to walk away from what I had, my IT job and all the comforts and everything. So as phase one, I called up, then my spiritual director was a Benedictine monk, and I called him up and said, hey, can I come and stay for a while? I don't know how long. And he goes, yeah, we have guest rooms. Come over. So I went there, and this is a Conception Abbey in Missouri. Beautiful Benedictine monastery. I used to go there every other month for a weekend retreat, silent retreat. But at this time, I went with my backpack like indefinitely. How much or longer it'll take. I wanted to just stay and discern. So about a week or two later, I was experiencing this beautiful silence in my soul. Like it's not just quiet from no noise, but it's a different depth I really enjoyed. And then week 3, it felt like I was in a different planet. It just felt so different.
Good, different.
Yeah,
Okay.
beautiful, good, different. It's like I felt like I always used to struggle with like my mind and my soul felt like they're two completely different things without connecting with each other.
Yeah.
Not always, unless it is time for prayer. Then it's disconnected immediately. I'm at work with my mind, and then when I go to church, I'm in tune with my soul, but not so much with my mind. But at this time on this retreat, it really felt like all of me was together.
Yeah.
First time I experienced it in my life.
That sounds
and
really nice.
Well said. Yeah.
yeah, lots of consolation during that time. After about 4 weeks, I was one night after night prayer, I just sat there. No reason, no explanation, just like I was bawling. But I was happy. It was one of those consolations. To this day, I've never had that again.
Sure.
I just look back, think about that moment. Yes, God is still with me. That consolation gave me clarification that it is time to let go of my job. At that time, I had my own IT consulting company. So I called my partner and said, hey, it's yours. I don't want to be doing this anymore. I think I'm going to become a focus missionary because I still wanted to get married.
Sure.
So I said no to seminary and the monastery and the monks there. The abbot used to make fun of like, hey, we already have a habit ready for you. Nobody just shows up and decides to stay for 4 weeks. So that's what happened.
Well, a lot easier to find a wife in the focus world.
That ended up being a really good thing because I did end up marrying one. That was not the plan, though, when I joined.
It's just easier. It's statistically.
Statistically, more so than a monastery.
Yes.
Yeah.
So where'd you get assigned to?
So my first year with Focus, I went to Bradley University in Illinois. Second year, Illinois State University. Third year at CU Boulder, and then I moved to headquarters doing marketing. So I was with
Headquarters
Focus
for
first.
Focus is
Yeah.
in. Okay, got it.
That was in Denver.
3 years a missionary, and then how
Mhm.
long as a part of the parent company team?
Yeah, parent company team.
That's what they
Okay.
call it.
The PCT.
I just
That-
pointed
is
at the
that where
board.
you're
It doesn't
going?
even say PCT on the board, but I pointed in case anybody wanted to look right now.
We'll get there.
There's letters over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are letters.
Three more
Praying
years.
for clarity. It's PFC.
Yeah,
There we go.
That's PFC. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Three
three
more
more
years,
years.
6
at
total.
headquarters. Yep.
They kick you out.
No.
So you need to go become a monk.
We've heard about a habit waiting for you.
No. I was married. After getting married, I was kind of discerning like a good place within. I didn't quite see the campus life as the next step. And marketing, I was enjoying some of it, but I liked being more an entrepreneur within the ministry. So I liked starting new things, like the mission way they call it, sponsorships. Like that's one of those things with my team, we started that and doing some missions, also like putting Focus Store together. These are all different things I was doing, but I didn't want to just stick with one. I wanted to do more.
Yeah, I think that's the theme of your life. Where in this did you end up meeting your wife? You were serving or you were in headquarters on the home team?
So Lindsay and we started Focus same year. So I saw her the first 6 weeks of training time in Madison, Wisconsin, and then we just went to different campuses. And Focus has this rule, first year you don't date because you want to learn about yourself, your faith, and don't get distracted. So
So you said, do you want to go to a bar? No.
Instead, I took her number because she was really cute, and so were 2 other girls. So I took all 3 numbers, and I said, okay, I'm not supposed to date, but it doesn't say you cannot be friends with them. So I thought maybe I can just start this friendship thing, and maybe by the end of the year, it'll turn into something.
Make your own American movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was shooting for. But so I gave my first friendship call to Lindsay, and she answered. We talked. That was an awesome hour-long conversation on my drive home after the after summer
What
training.
school was she at? Where'd she get assigned?
She was assigned in Greeley, in Colorado, at that time, and I was I was driving to Illinois. She was driving to Colorado, and we had this nice phone call. And then a couple of weeks later, I'm like, okay, I got to keep this friendship alive, so that I have 52 more weeks. Maybe I can call once a week. Second time I called, she didn't answer. So I left a message, and she never called me back.
Yeah.
I said, woman, we are breaking up.
Did you ever see Cable Guy? Like,
I'm
I was
breaking
using the
up- I'm
restroom. I'm
breaking
not
up
sure if
this
you called while I was in the restroom. I don't know. Call her every 5 minutes. So what happened? Wait, how long did y'all go with the radio silence?
Yeah, actually 3 years until I moved to Denver.
Lady, I called you that once. That was a big deal. You were on a short list of 3.
Right. So after year 1, I just asked the other 2 out. Same week.
Love it.
You don't waste time, man.
No, I mean, I waited till the end of the year, though.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
respect.
It's a good
But-
study.
Hey,
You respected the boundary.
clock
but
hit
then-
0. We're yep.
Yep.
Because until then, all I knew was arranged marriages, right? In India, that's
You were
what
trying to arrange
everyone
one?
does. Arrange my own.
This America thing, cool. Arrange your own.
That's what dating was in my mind.
Yeah.
Plan it, arrange it.
Sure.
But then I realized it doesn't work that way. So the 2 girls didn't like me. So I was back to square one.
What a great waiting period for you. Waiting for this one that didn't call you once to come back in your life so you could get over yourself.
Yeah. When you put it that way, yeah, that's how it felt.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay, I got to keep going on this. We're wearing your clothes right now.
Yeah, if you haven't been watching on YouTube.
Sorry, we forgot to mention this. We're all wearing your clothes. You're smaller than us, and these clothes are from where?
So what you guys are wearing, what Paul's wearing is what I think I wore at my wedding reception.
Yes, this is exactly what I wanted to get to. Paul, Hava Nagila.
What?
Is that supposed to be an Indian word?
I don't know anything.
I
Mazel tov. I don't know what to yell out right now.
namaste.
Yeah, start stretching.
No, you may rip those clothes.
Yeah, I'm
Don't
gonna be
stretch too
careful.
much.
I bet you looked amazing in the clothes Paul has on.
Paul's clothes.
Yeah,
was
yeah,
that
yeah.
true about
Yeah.
this?
That I borrowed for my wedding reception, yeah.
And then you still have them? Oh no, you're saying they were Paul's. I thought you borrowed them from somebody else. I tried to return them, but the guy didn't answer the phone, so it's been
Yes.
17 years.
Just
Okay.
waited.
Wait, what is Nick wearing then?
So what Nick and you, Jeff, you both are wearing also wedding reception
This
suits.
is like you have like long.
So it's called sherwani.
Hmm.
So I think these two belong to my brothers.
We are your brothers. in
Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah,
why you
we all are.
shared them with us.
Well,
That's
and
right.
we're gonna share 3 instead of sharing Wani.
No.
Stick with it, Paul. It'll get better. I promise.
All right. Let's keep this thing going.
Come back up for air. They're called.
Sherwani.
Okay, what are you wearing? Shirt.
Kurta pajama, kurta shirt.
I
So-
really appreciate it. I feel like I hope we're not offending anybody. I've always wanted to like go to a really killer wedding and get all dressed up, and instead I just went to the same studio we go to every week and got
Yeah.
all dressed up.
No, but these are legit.
So
I went to the restroom in this, and before Nick and Paul got to see their sherwamis. And
Sherwani.
Yep.
Yep.
And I was doing the plural, and they both were like, "Whoa!" But did you know that Rob Hayes was behind you guys in there? No. So he comes out of a stall and he looks at me and he just shakes his head, and I sit there smiling with a teeth smile, and we decide not to speak to each other. We just stare at each other, and I'm like,
It's for the best. Yeah.
so I don't know. We'll see if the friendship's over. I don't know if he's ever going to call again. So we'll
Yeah.
see. He better. You know?
But speaking of, how did you and Lindsay, correct?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, how did y'all end up reconnecting?
So after moving to Denver, I was like super excited again with my faith. Now campus life is over. Now I wanted to transfer all that energy towards young adults. So Chris Stefanik was running youth and young adult office in Denver, Colorado at that time. For the young adults at that time, there were like theology on tap was one thing that was going on. And I wanted to kind of see if we can kind of harness that energy and like start small groups, Bible studies, some of these focus ideas I've had. I wanted to apply it to the young adult community. So I told Chris, like, hey, I can help with theology on tap here, organize things and add more events after theology on tap throughout the month. What do you think? He's like, yeah, go for it. So he was very focused on the youth ministry. So I was kind of helping with the young adult ministry. So as part of it, every time any young adult activity that was going in town, I would, I was driving a minivan at the time. Somebody donated because I was a missionary. So I would always call 6 other people because I can take 7 people. Well, actually 7 other people total. The car fits 8 people. I didn't want to drive. Like, this is a very Indian thing. Don't waste gas driving this big thing going by yourself. So I would always call a bunch of people to take them with me. And Sunday evening, 6:30 Mass with Archbishop Chaput at the Denver Cathedral. That's one of those drives. And I invited Lindsay and a bunch of other people. And most weeks, quite a few people would come. But this one week, it was just Lindsay. Nobody else showed up.
Friendship.
In a future parent vehicle. You imagine if we had a bunch of kids back here, Lindsay?
That's what actually she thought I was doing. I was deliberately calling only her and nobody else so that I can get to know her. But like, no, I did. I promise I did call others. You're the only one who hasn't been to Mass yet for Sunday evening. Others went in the morning.
Like Catholic guilt.
So if you think about it, it's really your fault, Lindsay.
Procrastination.
Yeah, we went to Mass, and at this time, I also have seen her a little bit at headquarters. She was at the front desk and doing a little bit of accounting help, and I was doing marketing. So I've seen her at the office, but I was not thinking on that next phone call because she didn't like me, right? Otherwise, she would have called me back 5 years ago. So I didn't really think to do much there until that one day we go to Mass, and during right after Eucharistic prayer, I just saw her, like how she was praying, like her hands together, eyes closed. It was so beautiful to see her in love with Jesus. Her prayer, even though I didn't know what she was saying in her heart, it just seemed like a beautiful relationship that she had with God, and that's something like, wow, I can have that if I have her. So right after Mass, I asked her out.
Did you get it?
And
Did she say yes?
She said yes.
Oh.
Yeah, so it worked. It worked. We went on 2 dates, and then she shot me down.
Yes, I love this woman.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's also in the movies. Boy meets
That's
girl.
right.
They fall for each other. Then she
And
has
then
to
one-
win her back.
Can't quite get this.
He's in a detention hall. I'm just thinking of all the 80s movies. But
Yeah, that's what happened. And I had to let it go. But in my head, I'm like, if I keep doing this friendship thing, maybe she'll change her mind. So I said, that's okay. We can just go grab coffee next time.
in the minivan.
Yep, in the minivan. And we would, like every 2-3 weeks, I would ask her to go grab coffee with me. And we would talk. And at the end of the conversation, like, how about next coffee as a date? She's like, no. I'm like, okay, that's fine. That's fine. We'll just be friends. We'll have coffee. So after about 2 or 3 months of coffee without a date, I was getting a little frustrated. And I was like, okay, my birthday is coming up. I think that's going to be the deadline because I have to eventually walk away. Like, I mean, move on. I cannot just hang on to something that's not going to happen. So I told one of my roommates, like, you're going to keep me accountable. If nothing happens by February 7th, I'm going to sign up on Catholic Match. That was the deadline.
Yeah, sure.
Yep.
Did you threaten her with that?
No.
I'm working on my
That's good.
profile.
That's good. Ultimatums. Ultimatums generally.
I took a
don't.
break from scrapbooking about our future life together to work on my profile for Catholic marriage.
How does one scrapbook a future? Is
You
he
just get the ready.
photoshopping?
You just get the. You get all the pages ready.
I just thought, like, are you photoshopping these fake kids into existence?
Melding the two faces together.
It's the Michael Scott.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Put
The
yourself
beach's
in.
vacation.
Yeah.
All right.
I should have leaked that detail. That may have.
Why did she go past the deadline?
No, actually, without any leaked knowledge, on my birthday, she called me and said, "You can ask me out."
Wow.
Did she know it was your birthday?
She knew it was my birthday.
She's a giver.
But
Happy
she,
birthday.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, that was a good birthday
Hey,
gift.
best gift I've got.
Yeah.
Right. And I gave her a, similar gift back on her birthday.
By saying yes.
You waited 6 months? No. When's her birthday?
December.
Okay, so yeah, like
Oh,
10
yeah.
And that's
months.
when-
Just all
Yeah.
year.
That's when you did what?
We got married on her
Oh.
birthday.
Whoa.
Same year?
Same year.
Yeah,
Whoa.
buddy. Been waiting 5 years. I got a scrapbook ready to fill in.
There's no reason to waste any more time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quick engagement.
Focus.
We were focused on our vocation.
That's right. We have to transition here in a minute to talk about Project Finding Calcutta and the great work you're doing. But I thought maybe we could take a little pause here to play a game that you probably heard us play through the walls and the halls of lucidprivateoffice.com in Irving, Texas, where we're recording this right now.
The game is called Blessed Are the Joke Makers, for they shall inherit the points. You know this
Wow.
game, Anand?
Looks like you guys have a lot of points because I heard you laugh a lot.
That's my
Through
way
the
of
walls.
asking
That's
if
us
you've
losing to
watched
Paul.
this show before. For this one, we'll go with I don't know, 82 points.
82 points. Love it. And so we have a character card, Catholic card game card, and we have to answer the Catholic card game prompt as this character. Okay, so you just get to decide then who you enjoyed the most. It's purely subjective. It's up to you. Just your call who gets the 82 points.
What's the name of my hat first? What do you call this?
I called it Talapaga.
Oh, Talabaco.
Yes.
Talapaga.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you just say it with confidence.
Go on, Paul.
Here we go. All right, the character we all have to become is a fed-up waiter or waitress, and the prompt is, I saw visions of blank after blank. Well, after you tipping me by only writing your phone number on the receipt repeatedly, I saw visions of scrapbook after scrapbook and decided to finally say yes.
I'm sick of this place not letting me be my real self, and so I keep having visions of me putting on multiple knobs and telepagas, and that's what I'm going to be wearing tomorrow when I get up here, because you can't stop me from dressing like my home country.
Perfect pronunciation.
You sounded very Indian there.
You can't stop me.
I'm so fed up. This restaurant is empty. And in my dream last night, I just had vision of carload after carload of friends bringing all their friends in their minivans and not wasting gas. And then they show up, and then, okay, there's like 5 people here, but still it's not even full. But then they just wasted all their food. They didn't even eat any of it, and there's just so much waste, and I'm just fed up.
That's pretty good.
Reminds me of somebody who got
I got
ditched once on a phone call and gave up.
I got pretty good. Pretty good. Is that good enough for those big 82
I
points?
think I have to give 82 points to Nick.
Oh, brother.
Whoa, what is this one? Where did you get it?
Appropriate.
We did some research on ways that we won't get dinged for any sort of copyrights.
There you
So
go. All right.
I made that with my flute.
It was better when you did it also with your mouth.
Okay.
Yep.
Anand, hey, buddy, for being our celebrity guest judge. I get so sad during this part because I hate giving my socks away. These were mine, but they're yours now. I thought these purple socks
Where
reminded me
did they
of
come
you.
from?
Sockreligious.com. So these socks are the Easter Bloom socks.
Cool. Haven't seen
Easter
those.
happens, it says every year.
Same day?
No, in fact, it varies
Tell me how.
based on the lunar calendar because of the fall of Passover.
And here we go. From death to life, Christ reigns. My friend, these are yours. Anybody else out there wants a pair of these,
Sweet.
go to
Sockreligious.com/BeatiDudes.
Nice.
See you after the break.
The team at Aquinas Wealth Advisors believes that good values and good returns are not mutually exclusive. Using a tech-smart and morally sound approach, they provide investment alternatives that align with Catholic teachings without sacrificing returns. These days, faith-driven investors are finding it hard to know where their money is going. They have no visibility into what their dollars are supporting, but there's a better way. Thanks to the Faith and Finance Score from Aquinas Wealth Advisors, you can look into your current holdings to see what you're supporting and make a switch to an advisor that aligns with your values and gives power to your voice. Check out AquinasWealth.com today.
Hey, BeatiDudes, it's Jeff here. When Nick and I set out and we started this company, Undivided Life, we decided to not use traditional healthcare, but we went with Solidarity HealthShare because we thought it was an affordable and ethical alternative that matched the needs of our business and our growing families. Since then, my family put Solidarity to the test. We've had pregnancies, babies, emergency room visits, even a brain surgery for one of my children, and Solidarity has been an incredible partner and has also had the cost and the ethical approach that we love. Here's a link for you to go check it out. learnmore.solidarityhealthshare.org/BeatiDudes. This is your chance to be in solidarity with the Shufflebine family.
Hi, it's Paul Kolker from the BeatiDudes here, and I just wanted to share with you guys that I also, outside of the show, perform improv comedy on a regular basis with a group called Divine Comedy. So what we do is we come up with everything on the spot, so whether you're looking for faith-filled, fun, family-friendly comedy for your youth night, or whether you're looking for clean comedy for your corporate event, Divine Comedy can perform for your group and even get you in on the action. So if you'd like to hire us to come out and perform for your next event, check out DivineComedyImprov.com. Divine Comedy, an inferno of fun.
Stop what you're doing and listen to the BeatiDudes.
Welcome back, everybody. We're here with Anand. Not going to take an attempt at the last name. I'm sorry. Bheemarasetti.
Bheemarasetti.
Yeah, Paul.
It's like B or Maserati is how you remember that.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
or how about the two cars, Mercedes.
Oh,
City.
there you go.
Oh,
That's pretty slick.
okay.
Tatanka.
Welcome back, everybody. We're here with Anand Bheemarasetti. And we've been talking about your journey, your faith journey, your journey to America. And but we also know you do something else around these parts here in Lucid Private Offices. You run a ministry called Project Finding Calcutta.
That's right.
And tell me more about PFC. as we say.
PFC.
Everybody needs a little PFC.
That's right.
Praying for clarity.
That's
That's
right.
it.
So, yeah, Project Finding Calcutta. What is it? What inspired it? Let's dive in.
Let's go.
I think the inspiration started with actually meeting Mother Teresa when I was around 10 years old. A brief encounter, but it was beautiful. Like
Yeah.
Did you meet her in Calcutta?
in India,
Wow.
in my hometown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is about 300 miles south of Kolkata.
Okay.
So she came to visit one of their convents, and sweet little encounter, very brief, but I just remembered it for a long time.
Yeah.
Always had this love and respect for her. Fast forward into a specific point in the story I shared earlier. Before joining Focus, I was a big fan of Focus because I was in its Bible study and everything. I was recommending to Focus that they should start mission trips and they should go to Kolkata and do what Mother Teresa started. At this time, she already died.
Yeah.
This is year 2004. And they Focus, through my friends, I've gotten to know some people within Focus, and I remember receiving an email, said, why don't you join Focus and lead the first trip? To which I responded, well, I will still be a donor of Focus. I think you need to have one of your missionaries do a trip. John Zimmer responded to it and said, like, well, keep it in mind, keep praying, think about it. A year later, I became a missionary. And I started, through Focus, I started mission trips to India. And those trips were happening every year. After the first 2 trips, I was no longer leading anymore. I wanted other people to be able to lead those trips. So after leaving Focus, I started a ministry called Ask a Bishop. This was, so I got married in 2010. 2011, I left Focus, and I started Ask a Bishop, which was a media ministry, filming bishops, doing Q&A, short videos, so Catholic faith can be shared on YouTube and other places. But I needed to find a way to support the ministry. Media work is expensive, so I went ahead and re-announced mission trips to India, because that's one thing I've done before, know how to do it. Focus will take young college students, and I can take young adults. At this point, I was helping with the young adult ministry in Denver. So that's the story, how I was taking more people back to India again, back to Kolkata.
So basically organizing pilgrimage,
Yep.
a way to pay yourself.
Yep.
Got it.
Yep. And as I was leading these trips in 2016, Mother Teresa was canonized, and I thought it'll be nice to make a documentary film. Since I'm doing some videos already, I recruited some friends to go on that trip together, and a couple of videographers. They came along. I said, let's just make a film like a travel channel style, like we're on a journey to encounter Mother Teresa's work, and then go to Rome from Calcutta and film the canonization. It's like through the lens of volunteers. That's what I wanted to do. I filmed it, and after coming back, I was going through the content, trying to edit. As I was going through, I kept hearing, find your own Kolkata. Like the words popping out through all these interviews I've done with various volunteers and sisters. That led me to think, like, this would be a dumb idea to make another documentary film where people will watch and at the end they'll say, oh, that's nice, she's a really nice person. But what good is it if we are not changed, if we are not moved enough to do what she
Where's
did?
the action?
Right.
Yeah.
So I threw in project before that, and I wanted to create a model that people can actually follow. So that's the film actually ended with inspiring me to start the ministry, Project Finding Calcutta, where people can easily engage in corporal works of mercy. So I started that in 2019, so 3 years after Mother Teresa's canonization. And since then, I never finished the film, but I really am grateful for that opportunity, which led me to start the ministry right before COVID. We started here in Dallas, and I did pilot in Kansas City and Denver as well. But in Dallas is where like it really took off, and because I was living here.
Sure.
And we it started out as a service opportunity for anyone local, as a once in a month kind of an activity. And then after about a year or so, I said, I don't want people to call me and be disappointed on a Saturday morning, because that's not the Saturday we are serving. So Feast Day of Mother Teresa, September 5th, 2021, I announced we're going to do this every week. And since then, we gather at various parishes in town, in parking lots. We gather, we pray for a little bit, and everyone that shows up, like let's say if there are 50 people, we break them into 5 small groups, send them to 5 different places to encounter the poor, whether they're homeless or elderly or low-income families, whoever they may be.
Corporal Works of Mercy, can you just describe that for anybody who isn't familiar, so we know like what we're talking about here?
Yeah, Corporal Works of Mercy, it's such a simple Christian way of living. Jesus, when he said, like, whatever you do to the least of my brothers, you did it to me. Mother Teresa calls it the 5-finger gospel. You did it to me. So I just love how she simplified it. And when Jesus goes on and explains with the parable of like sheep and goats, the good and the bad, I was hungry, you fed me. I was thirsty, you gave me drink. So that's the first two. Then naked, and you clothed me. I was homeless, you sheltered me. I was in prison, you came to visit me. I was sick, you helped me. And the last one is Jesus said, like, burying the dead is the last one. These are the 7 corporal works of mercy. So we do, the 5 easy ones. We don't bury the dead.
Good.
And we don't go to prisons because it's difficult. We want to, but it is really difficult to work
Sure,
it out.
you couldn't just have whoever shows up on Saturday and we're like,
Right.
we're going to the prison.
Yeah, there's clearance stuff that has to happen, security stuff that has to happen.
Takes months of prep. Yeah.
Yeah.
The part about burying the dead, there's still dignity in the dying. Can you talk to us about that step in the corporal works of mercy?
Yeah, I just love, this is something I have never thought much about. Like, I always thought, like, you engage with someone, your relative when they die, then you are close to that person or go to the funeral and everything. But death happens all around us all the time. And I didn't really encounter it until I remember when Lindsay and I, right after we got married, like 3 days after, we went to Kolkata. We wanted to, as part of our honeymoon, we wanted to serve in Kolkata. And when we were there, first day, sisters asked, like, hey, Anand, can you go, like, sit with this person? He's not doing too well. They said, like, he's probably not going to make it past that day. They're like, wait, what about, can we connect him with his family and whatnot? Like, he cannot speak. He's dying and he's past medical help. Only thing we can give this person now in this last minute is dignity. And sisters were praying like for several hours, and they just sat with him, and then they were about to take care of another individual, and they asked me to go sit. I was like, I don't know what to do. But I just went and held his hand, and I've never seen anyone die like in front of my eyes, but that was a beautiful, touching experience for me to just gaze into his eyes and try to see Jesus in him. And the beautiful thing happening at that same time is like he was looking at me like he has no idea who I am, but he was like, for him, I was everything. I was his family in his last few minutes. And just looking at each other, and I was praying, and I was trying to like comfort him, saying words in Hindi, the other language that I know in India, and I don't know if he understood or not. All I saw is like tears coming down his eyes, and his grip, his hand, like he was holding it harder and harder, like the grip was tightening. And we had that moment for a while until sister said, like, Anand, it's already 3:00, go eat something and come back. And I went, sisters were with him. When I came back after lunch, after tea break, he died.
Yeah.
So that was we can give that dignity to people, not only with those who are dying at that minute, but also who will be dying, and people that are sick. And that's the beauty of going to nursing homes.
Yep. And I hope that people heard this. This was your honeymoon. You went on your honeymoon to go and serve and to give people dignity in their final breaths on life, on earth. And I don't know, your wife also deserves a tremendous amount of credit in that story, that this was something you both chose to go do. It's beautiful. It's unparalleled too in the stories that I know of, like, we went to Sandals in Jamaica. It's not where I went, but I was thinking of Michael Scott. So then what does it typical, like a Saturday, look like in Dallas, Texas? People show up, in a parking lot. Then what happens?
We usually meet at 9:00, and we serve chai tea, bread, and bananas, because that's what Mother Teresa served her
really?
volunteers in Calcutta.
Bananas?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That's how my kids say it, actually. Nick called him the other day, but one of them said, I had a banana. And he was like, you're teaching them to speak like they have different accents. And I'm like, yeah, so they can be just like me.
That sounded very Indian.
Yeah.
So yeah, we serve, and then after some snacks and fellowship, we give instructions for the day. But it all begins with reading a reflection from Mother Teresa and a little explanation on that, and then we divide the group into smaller groups so they go, they can serve, but they get to choose. Some people are uncomfortable. It's probably their first time interacting with the homeless, so. We kind of let them choose, and we go as a group. Every group has some people who have done that kind of work before and some that are new. But after we give all these instructions, we gather to pray. And after prayer, we just let them go. People go to different locations to do different service.
Do they meet back up with you at the end so you can get like a recap, or is that too much driving?
At the end, we give the option for people to come join us for lunch Saturday. Mostly young adults come for lunch, and families go home. But sometimes families join too. So, we have groups anywhere from 25, 30 people some weeks to sometimes 80, 90 people.
Wow.
I just wanted to make it easy for people to serve. And what I realized is, take out as much paperwork as possible so it's easy. So people can just wake up and show up, and they'll have an opportunity to serve.
How come?
Very cool.
So Nick and I got a chance to do this, and we didn't get bananas or tea or anything. So what am I supposed to understand here? I thought it was a joke, but it turns out
that
you do
was
it for
that was not
everybody.
on a Saturday. We'll have to go on Saturday. That's a Saturday
and
deal.
he left you a bunch of voicemails that you never called back.
I did see that he still drives the same minivan. What do you, is that true? Do you still have the same minivan?
It's a different
Okay.
minivan.
What about this? I'm sorry, but my Suriname is scratching my neck every time I move my head that way. There's glitter right there.
Oh, you mean Sherwani?
Yeah, Giovanni.
Hey, that's my son's name.
I know.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, so more serious question, just a little bit more serious than the last question. After you see people go through their first time of doing this project, Finding Calcutta, what kind of reactions or breakthroughs do you see happen? I know it's not for everybody, but what do you see that you can give us as a takeaway that people are experiencing?
It is very different for every person. And some people witness miracles in that short little time. We just wrapped up a summer camp with some kids. Day one, I was getting a little worried. Maybe our camp is too serious for these kids. Maybe it's too much. But on the last day, a group of girls that were going to a nursing home and visiting the same lady, they were just so moved by their encounter. Actually, not just from the encounter, but what they saw on the last day. This woman who was bedridden for several months, she enjoyed these visits to the point these young, students gave so much hope to her. From that excitement, she got out of bed.
Wow.
Whoa.
That was a miracle. That she was able to. I got a message from the nursing home. They said, I don't know what these girls have been talking to Marilyn. She is up. She's out of her bed. She's moving on her own. And that was, that's one. That we have so many people experience so many little miracles as they serve. And then some people, it's not so much they witness a miracle in another person. It's them realizing, hey, I can do this. I can serve others. Or some people actually, even more importantly, well, I've been down about A, B, and C. I was thinking my life sucks. And actually, when these 2-3 hours when I'm serving others, I'm not thinking so much about my own issues because life is actually good. So these are all the things people walk away with. And I remember about, at least in the last 3 years, 4 young adults approached me. Actually, 3 young adults and 1 elderly person. Volunteers. They came and said, Anand, I was contemplating suicide, or I have attempted suicide. These are the people that are Catholic, they're going to church, they have friends, they have jobs, they have everything. But still, they're experiencing this deep loneliness, intense isolation, even though they are around people all the time, for them, they needed something. And when they come and serve, when they shared this with me, it was really moving for me to realize, okay, there is different kind of healing. It's not only serving the poor, but it's actually the poor among us who look like us, and we are the poor.
We are. How do people find Project Finding Calcutta?
The website, projectfindingcalcutta.com.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Yeah, we're blessed to be near you. I feel like every time I open the door for you, I'm doing some sort of a work of mercy. I wouldn't call it corporal, but I would call it corporate because of the office building we're in at lucidprivateoffices.com.
Yep.
Project Finding Corporate.
That's right. No, we got something real cool going on here in the Vatican Valley, and you're a huge part of it. You used to be officed pretty far away from here, and then one day you picked up all your stuff and came and squatted in the office right next to us. Was that just for us? You just want to be close to the joy? What was
I
that?
just wanted to be a dude, BeatiDude.
All right.
Yeah.
We can cut a little hole in this wall, and so during the show you can poke your face in, and I'll hold the mic up.
I can hear it. I can hear all of it.
But we want to be able to hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, could you hear
A
it sometimes when I...
A drive-through.
Yeah, sometimes when I get on a phone call or something, I worry about what if you guys are capturing that sound.
I've never noticed.
You don't,
it.
right?
Oh, we
Well,
do.
We keep those on a separate recording.
Yeah, that's just for in case you do anything wrong, we can hold it against you.
That's what you're doing.
Do something wrong. I don't know what that even means. Well, this has been a blessing. I know we're going to share some fun stories as we get into the bonus episode on Friday. I got a fun transfer from India to America story for you. Not my own, by the way. I was born near here.
You were born near America.
We made somebody mad the other day because they said they were from upstate New York. We said we were from upstate Texas. They're like, I mean, that's what they say in New York. And I'm like, well, that's what we say in Texas. Any last words of wisdom from our dear Saint Mother Teresa that you can share with the folks to encourage love or kindness or giving or just
Or works of mercy.
inspire us?
Yeah, I like one of her very simple things, which a lot of people struggle with, I think. Like she says, like, if you cannot feed 100 people, then feed just one. For a long time, I was like looking at some problems in the world. I'm like, oh, that's such a big problem. We got to tackle it. And I was overwhelmed and I gave up. And when she simplified it with, hey, just feed one person, that gave me the inspiration. And when I started Project Finding Calcutta, I was like, at least I can go and visit half a dozen people at a nursing home with my wife and children. That's what we did for a Lent. And now we have, 5 years later, over 7,000 volunteers. They're all from Dallas area. Like, people want to serve. So, yeah, that's one inspiration. I have quite a few quotes that I love from Mother Teresa, but that's a simple one because of how my brain thinks and works.
Start with one, get to 7,000, keep on going.
That's it.
It's awesome. All right, you've blessed us just like those Easter socks are blessing you. And they're going to go nicely with all these colorful wedding
Sachets.
wedding things we're wearing here.
What was the official name for it?
Sherwani is actually, it became a trend just within the last decade or two, but this is what kings used to wear.
Oh.
Only kings used to wear for centuries, and then somehow it became a trend. Like, instead of suits, men started wearing these for their weddings.
And you expect to get these back? After telling me these are for kings? Good luck, short stuff.
With the helmet you're wearing?
Jeff, what were you like in middle school?
I mean, yeah, this helmet's going to keep me protected. And actually, it feels like I maybe did Botox or something because my eyes aren't closing very easily after putting on your
Not
helmet.
anymore.
Yeah.
Well, with that, it actually, like, since kings would be wearing those things in India, we all may have to start calling you Maharaja.
Maharaja.
Yeah. Chicken Mech Maharaja. That's one of the items
what'd you
at
just say?
McDonald's.
Chicken.
Chicken Mech Maharaja.
Is that king size or something?
It's one of their chicken sandwiches.
Take it back.
The
All right,
Nek
love you. See you in the
Maharaja.
drive-through line of
Of life.
Corporal Works of Mercy. ProjectFindingCalcutta.com, thebeatidudes.com, where you can get really great swag, but not this swag, and socks. Go get those too. We love you. Bahazaradamedi. Anand.
I think my daughter is going to steal these socks.
Good.
There you
She
go.
loves
Yeah.
purple.
Hey, I like giving away stuff. So, all right, brother. We will see you soon. For the rest of you, we will.
See you in the Eucharist.
God bless you.
Thanks for tuning in. If you'd like to join us at our undersized table, subscribe to the video version of the show on YouTube by typing @ that's the symbol @ so shift and 2 on your keyboard, @ the _ BeatiDudes on YouTube. We'll see you there.